Hello everyone, press up 11. Another great conversations last night, today, this morning, just booming through, absolutely booming through with people just finding themselves again. It's brilliant. It's like when you're doing navigation sometimes and you get lost. Sometimes on Night Nav X's, or when you're in Northern Ireland or wherever you're in the world and you go Afghan, you do what's called, soldiers do, navigation. So you go through a series of checkpoints to get to where you want to be, and then sometimes you get lost. A lot of you can either wander aimlessly, or you can stop, reassess, or sometimes you got to go backwards. And when you go backwards, sometimes when you're going forward, you get lost and you get panicky and you do things wrong, and then it all goes. No one believes in you, and the trust goes, and all your blokes are looking at you like going proper weirdo. So it takes a lot of courage sometimes to go back and say, I need to go back a few steps, and then what you lose there is the belief in yourself, because you think you're crap, and it's not. It's just been a bad night, over cloudy, you couldn't see the moon, couldn't pick out your points in the distance, you've not been doing your steps, and it's just taking this courage sometimes to say, people, and let me go back and try again. Not a lot of places, not a lot of jobs, not a lot of people are accepting of that kind of decision I've found since I've been in Civvy Street, and certainly in the military. There's no error. There's no margin for error at all. It's do it and win, or fail and get mocked for the rest of your life. So it knocks your confidence. A lot of them lads that came out of the army so early, I'm seeing them on here now working in warehouses and stuff, and thinking, why is that bloke not still in the army? Because he was such a winner. And I just thought he must have had either garbage people leading him and got lost, or he just lost his faith in him. So I'm looking at that faith and belief and believe. So if you look at all the wonderful people you meet in your life, I was working in Manchester for 6 years after I left the army in schools, and I worked in a place called Crumpsall, and I was taken in by the Muslim community. I was taken into the mosques. I was proper looked after and loved, and I could see why the community was so strong and they loved each other. It's because they had this tether to the ground, and that was their belief. When you look at Great Britain in a moment, we don't really have a belief system. The biggest belief we have now is sport and idolise false superstars. They don't do anything for you. You grab at success, and if I latch myself onto that, I'll be amazing. And looking at it now, I've become quite grounded after a certain period in my life. I started believing in something. And I discovered, like, looking different around the world. So if you look at a cup, give a cup a name. So it's like taza. I think it's taza in Spanish and French, and cup. But it's still a cup. And then you look at faith. There's all different names for these faiths, and it's just one thing they believe in, but it's just a different name for it in a different part of the world. And we have this horrible way of slating each other because of their beliefs. And that's the same kind of thing I'm sensing from a lot of people. They're getting mocked for something they believe in. And it's stripping back, and you might not think you're doing it sometimes, but you're destroying someone, and you really have to look back and think, does your opinion really matter to that person? Okay, because when you have a belief in something, like I say, it's an anchor to a boat, and it holds you steady and it stops you from drifting off, because that's what you go to. We live the Monday to Sunday lifestyle. You'll do the same thing you do on a Tuesday every part of your life, because it's just safety. And sometimes you've got to have a bit of balls about you, or I don't know what the term is for girls. You've got to go out there and just have a go at something. And then from that belief comes something called believing. So you believe in yourself then, because suddenly you've put your heart into this belief and thinking, it might go wrong, and it doesn't, because you control it. You control how much you love it. You control how much you do it, and then you start to believe in that you've made the right decision. So from your belief comes your belief in yourself. So many people have lost the way, sort of thing. I've got an amazing friend called Cammy. He had so much tragedy in his life, so much tragedy, the poor bugger, and he was someone I really watched and observed from a distance. Lost lots of his brothers, lost lots of his family members, and he gave something up for a bit, and then he just came back to it because it meant something to him, and it made his life whole again from making this choice. Now, you can believe in what you want, have your belief. You can be a Jedi, you can be whatever you want, but forget what people think about it. It's not their issue, and that's the big worry of everybody. Stop caring what people think about you. You know, if you want to go to church, go to church. If you want to go to mosque, go to mosque. If you want to go to the temple, go to temple. And then what you want to do then is break away from the sheep, and you become something different. And that's the great thing about being me at the moment. You break away from this. You know, when I broke away from the army, I broke away from, you're not fit enough, you're not tall enough, you're not fast enough, and you really believe that you're not as good as someone because they can run something in 7.5 minutes and you run it in 10:31. And I just thought, I was out running one day and I was just running and running and running. And it was the day after I left the army, it was the 30th of May 2013, and I was running down the road and it was like a Forrest Gump moment. Stopped, turned around and walked home. Because I didn't have a belief in anything, I didn't know where I was now. And and it's just wandering aimlessly in your mind for a couple of years and thinking, what am I now? And it took all that time. I was training up as a life coach and I started to work with people. We started to get success and I then developed this belief in this system and I started to believe in myself. And it's just been this constant roll of success then with people and people and people all the time. 100% success all the time. In fact, there was one girl I spoke to her for 10 minutes and she wasn't coachable because she was opinionated and she didn't want to take it on board. She was only a young girl, but that's unfortunately sometimes what you come across, the stubbornness of somebody else who thinks they know everything, but they don't. They only know about what they know, but they believe that everything that they know should go all over you. And that's a big thing in the military and the services is, I know, I outrank you, I this, and without you realising it, you tear strips off people. Yeah, so all those people out there, find your tether, find your anchor, have a belief in something, whether it's just sitting on the floor and enjoying the trees, it's still a belief. And then you'll just start to realise that you're amazing and you're wonderful, and then you start to believe in yourself and you just fly. Yeah, and I just suddenly realised that I am not just that uniform. I am not just that person that would sit behind a desk, or I'm not just that person that did section attacks. I'm not just a firefighter, I'm not just a youth worker, I'm not just this. I'm just me, and I'm the best version of me. And you have to look at that and think, you know, there's no one as good as you. You look in the mirror and look at yourself, start from the top and go for every single part. Even twins are different, okay? Because it's what's inside here. You know, twins look the same and they hate it, twins, when they're at school, because they always get called a twin. And when they go to secondary school, they love it because they become themselves. They get put into separate classes and they suddenly go, oh, I'm this and I'm not this anymore. You imagine that, you having to share the looks with someone and everyone assumes you're the same. Very much similar, like people in service life. So yeah, belief and believe. Find a belief. Wander aimlessly till you find it. And when you do, love it, enjoy it and be proud of it. And then sit back and say, this is the me, this is the me. I suppose it's a bit like coming out or something. You just suddenly don't care what people think anymore and you're very proud of who you are and for whatever reasons. So, yeah. Press-ups. Why can't it have been 25 pies? Or 25 chocolate oranges? Smash that. 25 custard creams. What else is yummy? Just 25 food of some type. Not 25 pints, because you all know I can only drink one. Custody halt. Come on, everyone. We're winning. So many people alive. So many people smiling. When they're not smiling, find out why. Later.